All right, y'all, what's going on? It's Combo Breaker 99, all box and everything. Make sure y'all subscribe. All right, y'all, back with another video here. I kind of want to give you my thoughts in this video about not what's been talked about or what's going on right now, but what's not being talked about and what's not going on with Errol Spence Jr. and Terrence Crawford. Because I know we're used to hearing videos about the he said, she said on Twitter, or Mike Coppinger putting some fake dates out like November 19th or as of lately, July 22nd, right? We're used to those type of pieces of posts and news and videos. But I just kind of wanted to talk about in this video the silence. You know, seems like we've been getting a lot of silence from both sides right now. I know we had a recent interview with Errol Spence, done by his girlfriend on her YouTube channel. And they talked about the fight a little bit. And Errol talked to his girl. He came out and said that him and Terrence Crawford, they talked on the phone for like an hour or something, maybe 40 minutes. And they talked about their families and everything, and they talked about the fight and the negotiations. And he said right now the negotiations seem to be going good, or seem to be going well, or whatever, right? So with just that little bit of talk and just like I said, the silence, do y'all think that the silence is a good thing right now? The silence between these two camps and these two fighters, do you think that's a sign that they are secretly working, or they're just waiting for maybe another tune-up fight between the two of them and kind of try to build this thing up for next year? For me, it's kind of like 60-40, meaning 60% a good thing and 40% a bad thing. Almost teetering 50-50 again with these two, because it just seems like we're kind of at a point where they're kind of riding this thing out, and they're mostly doing this thing for financial gain. They don't really care about legacy at this point, because they feel like they've done so much on both sides where they don't really need each other, especially Terrence Crawford. He's already gone on record to say, I've already achieved something I wanted to do, and that's be a 3-division world champion, be undisputed in a weight class, and I'm in the Hall of Fame. I'm going to be in the Hall of Fame one day, right? So I think for Terrence, I don't really feel like he thinks he needs this fight, to solidify a legacy or do anything bigger than he wants to do, and that's okay. That's okay. But at the same time, I think that just needs to be said, and we need to move on from here, though, if that truly is how Terrence Crawford feels, right? So I just think that that's still a possibility for Terrence, and he's still kind of just riding it out. But at the same time, he wants to see how much money he can get out of this thing, how much he can negotiate and what type of money he can get. That's why it's taking so long, because I think he knows that, the older he gets, he's about 34, 35 now. He knows that this could be his last big payday and his last big fight. This could be his last saga with Errol Spence Jr. So I think he's trying to really take his time now and trying to ride this thing out as far as getting what he can, for his pockets and in his bank account, you know what I mean, his family. As for Errol Spence, I think Errol truly wants this fight. Errol's not a 3-division world champion. He's known as the best welterweight in the world, and I think he feels like he has more riding on it as far as legacy. To me, that's how I feel, just looking at the two. Since, again, Terrence has done more in 3 divisions, done more as far as doing 3 divisions. I think, at welterweight, Errol Spence, he's picked up 3 belts, and, he's fought the harder fights at welterweight, but he wants to be that 4-belt undisputed champion, so I think that this is a fight that he really wants, and he doesn't want anybody else. That's why he's gone on record to even say, like, this is a fight he's sticking with, and he's kind of pushed that Keith Thurman to the side that they try to force on it, right? So I think with the silence part, I think it is a good thing somewhat, because we are seeing Errol Spence and Terrence, talking behind the scenes, and Errol really making it known that this is the only fight he wants, and he's proven it by not taking this Keith Thurman fight, because they went as far as to try to enforce this fight. Again, it was, I think, sanctioned. It was WBC. I think Mauricio Suleiman was going to try to make Keith Thurman the mandatory for Errol Spence. and they were even going to sanction it even if the fight was going to be at 154. But I guess Errol, he's really working behind the scenes to say, hey, I said I ain't giving this guy a fight. It's not going to go his way. No, we're not doing it, right? This is the fight I want. So I think with all the silence and with them not talking, I think that they are really trying to come to some type of agreement with Terrence, trying to sign with Golden Boy. They're trying to put up the money on their side. They're trying to get him what he wants, demands he wants, and meet in the middle with Al Heyman and Errol Spence. So that's really all we want at this point. I mean, this is the silence we wanted maybe 2 years ago. This is the way they should have been talking about, like I said, in the past. Like when I've seen fighters actually like text and get on the phone, that lets you know that they want to cut out all the middlemen and all the talk, and they want everybody to know they want to fight, right? I remember like back in 2007, 2008, I think, 2007, before the fight, whenever Roy Jones and Calzaghe finally wanted to make their fight, they texted each other. They was like, hey, you got Square Ring Promotions, Roy. I got Joe Calzaghe Promotions over here. We want to make this fight. Let's make it happen. So, they texted each other. They agreed on it. And through their promotional companies, they were able to do it on HBO, right? So I think that when it comes down to two fighters really wanting to fight, they can sit down and make it happen. Like whenever Manny and Floyd went to his room and they talked when they met at that, was it Miami Heat game, whatever, like 8 years ago now, when they met there, they went back to his hotel and they talked. And they made it known that, hey, we need to go ahead and make this fight, right? So I think this is the type of conversations that fighters need to have, behind closed doors, just making it known that we got to do what we have to do to please the fans and make our legacies worth it at this point. Because I think with all that other talk and letting so many other like media members kind of run what's happening, it's kind of been running this fight into the ground now. A lot of people are getting sick of hearing that he said, she said, or I got the most reliable sources, or I got the breaking news over here, when all of it is just bunk. All of it is just bunk because, Terrence, he went this way to sign with BLK Prime. So there was no way the fight was going to happen in November. Errol had another accident again, so that lets us know that there's no way having a fight. So I think with all of this other support, false support, it doesn't really help. So when the fighters just kind of sit back like this and they make it known that we're talking, even if it took 6 or 7 months or a little longer, as long as the two fighters are making it known that we are working behind the scenes and we are in communication, then I think that the people will be more happy with that. They'll be more like, okay, we're a little bit more relaxed. I think we're going to get the fight that we want, because time is passing by. We've seen great potential fights fly by, and just miss the boat. Lennox Lewis and Riddick Bowe, and fights like that. Prime Mike back in the day against Holyfield, things like that. Well, when it did happen, it still was a good fight. But I'm just saying, like when that was supposed to first happen, that was an opportunity that was missed. But now we have these two, with one with 3 belts, one with 1 belt, and nobody else in the division really makes sense at this point, because Boots, Ortiz, Stan Yossis, all those guys are still trying to make their own statement. They're not at the mountaintop. We already got 2 guys at that mountaintop that need to try to knock one of the others off. So I think they need to just keep doing what they're doing behind the scenes. I think the silence is better for it. I'm not excited now. I'm not going to get my hopes up, because I'm kind of at the point where if it happens, it happens, because like I said, the UFC's been spoiling me with their great fights that have been going on. This Devin Haney and Vasyl Lomachenko fights got me hyped up. So fights like that, they're getting me hyped up, but it kind of disappoints me that these two can't come to an agreement. So hopefully they can at this point, and they just need to keep it on the low, do what they're doing, and then boom, hit us with an official announcement when they're ready. And hopefully it is in 2023 at this point, because the fans, they're not going to stand for it anymore. A lot of fans have already kind of turned their back on it. So if they want to keep their legacies intact and their fan base is solid, they need to make this fight. And that's all I have to say on that one, guys. But like I said, as we get close, we'll talk about it. If you want me to make a breakdown video on how I think the fight would go, who has the better jab or what, I can do that. But as far as the he said, she said, I'm not doing that. Not anymore. I just had to address this silence that we've been hearing from Spence and Crawford and the little talk that he had. But yeah, we'll see, guys. Let me know in the comment section what y'all think. Make sure y'all subscribe, and I'll be back with another one. Combo Breaker 99. I'm out. Subscribe. Peace.